It's your boy Gat Cognac back with another video. This time around we are going to do my entire Super Nintendo collection. I'm actually getting rid of this collection. If you guys watch my old videos, you guys seen how I picked this up. I almost kind of caught all this stuff around the same time during the pandemic. And honestly, I didn't really have the Super Nintendo like that and enjoy it. So there's only a few games that I'm going to keep. Also, I'm going to sell, but I want to show you guys what I had accumulated this whole time. So let's get to it. Alright, let's start with the console itself. So I picked this up on a lot that Namudi actually recommended me to. And he was like, hey man, you need to go pick up this lot, man. Or you need to go pick up these like gaming watches that he found. And somehow like I asked if the guy had any other games. He had a whole Super Nintendo and a bunch of like complete in box games that he sold me for like $100. So it was like a crazy deal. So a lot of these games I got, it's been paid for like several times over already. So it's time to sell. Anyways, this was complete in box Super Nintendo console I got, the original one. And the one, it comes with a Super Mario World game. There we go. Complete in box. It's in an okay condition. It's not too bad, but it's alright. Better than some other ones I've seen. So my loose game's gonna be like Super Scope 6, you know. I had the scope, but I gave it to Easy Gamer, so here is just the game itself. I never played the game, can't tell you much about it, but I know it uses the scope in order for you to play. Batman Returns is actually a decent beat 'em up game, made by Konami. Probably the last you'll see of a Batman game made by Konami. So it was a decent game actually. So we got some weak games. These are the Desert Strike games. There's several games in the series. There's Jungle Strike, and then if you had a PlayStation 1, there's a game called Soviet Strike that was like a sequel to these games. So these are like your helicopter games. Nothing too crazy about them. They're kind of budget titles. Then I got a loose copy of Super Mario World, so one of the best games ever on Super Nintendo. Man, I remember beating this game on the airplane to Hong Kong back in the days when Singapore Airlines actually had the actual game that you could play, or a Super Nintendo installed into the airplanes. Very fond memories of this game, like most people. X-Men Mutant Apocalypse. I remember playing it a little bit. It's a Capcom game too, and it was actually a decent game, but I don't remember it being like hella good. So Final Fantasy II, which is actually the 4th game in the series, I believe, but they misprinted the title, or you know, US licenses came and they like, you know, they kind of like chronologically messed up the whole freaking series in the US. So this, I believe, is the 4th game in the series, but nonetheless one of the best ones, man. Had a lot of good time with this game, and I remember getting this game from my brother's friend back in the days. So good stuff. We actually traded our Sega Saturn for a Super Nintendo back then, man. Then we got this, one of the games that we got from him. Mario Paint. I think you need the mouse and keyboard or something like that, or the mouse to play this game, so I never played it. Super Star Wars is one of the better Star Wars games on the retro days. So this was actually a pretty decent game. I remember playing it a little bit when I first got it, but Star Wars isn't my cup of tea. So yeah. Mario is Missing. I never played this game before. Kind of just got this in a lot and it's been sitting there forever. But yeah. Illusion of Gaia is one of the games I actually wanted to play but never got a chance to play it. But it is one of those old school JRPG games from back in the days. And then here's the famous Link to the Past Legend of Zelda game. I've never really played a lot of Zelda games before, besides the NES titles and the Switch titles. Never been a really big fan of Zelda like most people are, but I wasn't like a big Nintendo guy back in the day, so yeah. And then there's Aladdin. This is one of those love it or hate it games right here. This game even got a freaking remaster for the Switch and the PS4. I remember playing it, and I don't know, it was a platformer game, but it wasn't really my type of game, so yeah. Now, of all the stuff that I'm selling, this is going to be one of the games that I am keeping, and this is the only imported Japanese title that I own. This is the Shin Megami 2 or Shin Megami Tensei 2 game. One of my favorite series back in the days and still now. Love me some Shin Megami games. I'm really hoping that they would remake this game and the first one, because these are some of my favorite ones, man. These were super dark games back in the days. This was like Pokemon before Pokemon came out. Super dark, super weird, and just great storytelling. So this game I actually got as a gift, I think for Christmas, from Pig Flip. So I'm definitely keeping this game for keepsakes, and I appreciate you, Pig Flip, for hooking me up with this game. Bam, right here. This is a legitimate copy of Hagane right here, the Final Conflict. Now, I am going to be keeping this game because there's no way I can sell this game without, say like if you sell it to like a game store or something like that, you're not going to get the full value for this game. So I got to keep this, hang on to it, possibly sell it to an interested buyer one day. But for now, I'm keeping it. I did pay up for this game back in the days. This game is missing the manual, but it's game in box, and actually the game is in really good condition. So I say the value of this is probably like $2,000, $2,500 right now, with the manual even more. But price fluctuates with this game, and as you know, this is one of those just rare games that they said it only came to Blockbusters, but then they say there's a myth. But I don't know, it is a really rare game. So bam, this game is a super grail. One of the biggest grails in gaming history is Hagane, the Final Conflict. I did pay up for this, man. I paid a good chunk for this game, but I definitely paid less than what it's worth. And this was during the pandemic time when they was giving out free money. So I don't know. So you consider it free, or did I pay for it? Yeah. And then the final game that I'm going to keep is actually The Legend of Mystical Ninja. This game has very huge nostalgia for me. I freaking love this game, man. Like, my cousin let me borrow this game back in the days, and he actually borrowed this game from his friend to let us borrow. And I just remember, like, man, this game was so fun, man. Especially playing co-op with my brother and stuff like that. This game was hella fun. I never had to beat the game, man. That's the crazy thing about it. Like, my cousin beat it, but I never have to beat the game. One of these days I will, but it's just one of my favorite games, man. It had a great soundtrack to it. It was a really solid game, man. So, Legend of Mystical Ninja, or Goemon is the main character's name, based off of the legendary thief Goemon from back in the days in ancient Japan. Anyways, really recommend this game. So I'm going to be keeping this out of all the games that I will sell. Alright, I showed you loose copies of this game, but I have a complete copy of this game, Desert Strike Return to the Gulf. So you look in the back, this game is one of those helicopter games. I think it's kind of like a choplifter. Secondly, there is a second game to it called Jungle Strike. I don't remember which one came out first, but I never really got to play these games. So that's crazy. I own a lot of these. I never played it before, and I probably don't think I ever will. So that's why I'm getting rid of it. Next up, I got Star Fox right here. And complete in box, man. This came actually with the Super Nintendo that I bought for $100. So, man, a lot of these games are like valuable games right there. Like a lot of these games are like 50 and up, man. Steel Talon's another one. I believe this game is like up there as well. A lot of like these games came out. They were all like these like Top Gun type of games, you know, like freaking airplane helicopter games. I don't know why they were so popular back in the days, but they made a lot of them. So this is one of them, complete in box. Here's some legendary stuff right here. I should be keeping this, but I really don't have an attachment to these games, especially these games I can emulate nowadays. That's why I don't really care for it right now, because I can just emulate them all. Anyway, Super Street Fighter 2, legendary game. Used to play this at my friend's spot back in the days, and just have tons of fun like everyone else did. Next up, we have Firepower 2000. This kind of looks like a Blaster Master game, but it looks like a game that I could actually get down with. I just never played it before. Firepower by Sunsoft. There you go. Check out some of the pictures. Looks like an airplane shooter type of game. Fighter's History is actually a game I had loose, but Pickflip had sent me the case or the box to this game. So this game actually is not complete in box. It's missing the manual, but it has the case and the game. Here is some legendary stuff. I almost don't even want to get rid of this game, but I will. I used to actually own this game before loose, and then I don't know what happened to it, but this is one of those games where this is the Doom game. I believe it's missing a manual, but it's still worth like $100. And man, I had hella fun with Doom back in the days. This game was actually scary to play back in the days. Can you believe that? This shitty ass graphics was actually scary to me back in the days. But this game had the legendary red cartridge to it, man, which is pretty cool. I liked it when like the Nintendo games actually did stuff like that. I do have the trilogy of Donkey Kong Country. Here we go. All 3 Donkey Kongs right here, plus an extra copy. So from all the time I've been like, you know, just picking up games and stuff like that, I come across cop doubles. This one's like a little more beat up than the other one. And I do remember Donkey Kong Country, man, was pretty damn fun. I thought they were hard as hell though. Like I never got to beat any of them. The only real time I could remember playing these games were actually at Toys R Us when they was on demo. Yeah. So never got to play Super Nintendo like that. So one day I probably want to go back and just finish these games. But there it is. Donkey Kong Country, the trilogy. Complete in box. Here we go. Probably one of the few most worthless games I've got is actually Monopoly. I actually popped this into play, and it plays just like any other Monopoly game. It's just that this one, you know, the graphics suck. You know, I prefer the newer ones nowadays. And the next one we got is the cleaning kit. This is what you use to clean the pins on your Super Nintendo when it got a little bit too dusty or grimy. So you kind of like stick that in there, clean it a little bit. This is barely even used, man. So whoever owned this, man, I got off a lot from this one kid who was just selling all his uncle's shit. But yeah, man, I got a great deal on a lot of these games, man. I can tell you, like, total I spent on these games beside like Hagane, probably like $450 total, or probably even less. But I sold some stuff they came with, so it's like I broke even and then made money on top of it. Anyways, Space Invaders, can't go wrong with that. This is a very good, immaculate copy. Matter of fact, whoever owned these games kept them in great condition. I don't want to waste time opening the case and stuff like that, but the actual cartridges to like 90% of these games are like as if nobody even touched these games. That's the insane part about it, man. So, yeah. Here we go, Super Mario AllStars. This is one of the best out there because it had actually all the original Super Mario games from the NES in this game. So, which was pretty cool, man. And they actually updated the graphics to them too. So, this is probably the definitive way to play the original Mario games back in the days on NES. But yeah. Here's another worthless game that I got. Super Battleship. You guys remember that? You sunk my battleship, man. There it is. So pretty much it plays just like a Battleship game, except I think it has like a storyline to it and all that. But yeah, pretty worthless, but cool to have anyways. Next up, I do have Super Battle Tank 1 and 2. I don't know nothing about these games, honestly. Looking at the back of it, they don't even look that fun. But I think you play like in cockpit mode in this game. And you kind of like just, you know, shoot other enemies and all that stuff. Why did the back of this case look identical to the first game? It's like they're so fucking lazy. Look at this lazy ass shit. They basically took the same, almost the same pictures of the first game and just pasted it on the second. That's funny as hell, man. It's not 100% verbatim, but it's just, look at that. Look at that shit. That's hilarious, man. But yeah, Super Battle Tank. Here's the Grail of all grails. I actually got 2 copies of this game. I hooked Namudi up with a copy, and this is mine right here. Super Castlevania 4. Easily $150 game right here. But yeah, who doesn't like Castlevania? This is probably one of the best Castlevanias, man. Well, everyone's going to say Symphony of the Night, but this game was legendary during its time, so good stuff. Oh man, this is another game I didn't want to get rid of, but I don't got nobody to play with this game. But back in the days, my cousin had this game, and I think he bought it from his friend as well. And we just go there and just play it all the time, man. Super Mario Kart. This was legendary for its time, man. Still legendary now. But this is what made the Mario Karts that you see today, man. Without this, we wouldn't have it. Super Mario Kart. Next game I have up, this game is probably one of the best condition games I actually have. It's the Soldiers of Fortune right here. It's a pretty pricey game, man, but I don't know what it's about. It looks like a Contra game. Pretty cool. Next game we got is Civilization. For some reason this game is expensive, man. I can't stand the Civilization games. I hated all of them. Well, I only played probably like 2 or 3 of them, but still, they all sucked, man. But if you like SimCity type of games, this is where it's at. Speaking of SimCity, man, I hate SimCity. These are some whack ass games, but people either love it or hate it, man. I remember watching Angry Video Game Nerd talk about this game, about how like many hairs he pulled out trying to play this game or beat this game, because SimCity was hard as hell, man. So this was the game. Then we got Sim Earth. I don't know if this game has anything to do with SimCity, but these are just very, you know, similar type of games where you kind of play as like God and all that stuff. But yeah, taking care of the planet and shit. But there we go. Then we got Street Fighter II Turbo right here. This is probably one of my more beat up games. You can tell it's probably from a rental or something like that. But you know when you have a Street Fighter game, somebody's going to play the hell out of them. So this is like the sequel to the Street Fighter 2. It's got turbo, so it plays a lot faster than the old Street Fighter 2, where it feels hella like sluggish and shit. So yeah. Then we got Super Ego Strike, another one of these airplane games. I really don't care for these airplane games, man. Only ones I like is actually like Raiden or like Gradius and all that. But these were dog shit, dude. That's why it's called high-tech super dog shit fighting action. Tetris Attack. It's one of the Tetris games. I don't really know much about it. I'm not a big fan of Tetris, but yeah. Another airplane game. This is from the same kid I bought off of, and like, man, the dude had nothing but airplane games. The only airplane game he didn't have was Aero Fighters, man. If I had that, I've been set. And then here is Tetris 2, another Tetris game. I don't know what the difference between 1 and 2 is, but these games have a cult following, man. And then we got Urban Strike, which is another helicopter airplane type of game. This is like one of the, you know, the same one with the Jungle Strike. This is like the sequel to Jungle Strike. There you go. And then my favorite airplane game would be Gradius 3. Kind of like a Life Force game. I love this type of game, man. This is where it's at. This makes all other airplane games look like shit. Gradius 3. There it is. Then we got Super Conflict. I believe this is one of the higher price items right here. But nonetheless, there was a lot of like airplane games, a lot of these like warfighter type of games, man. Bubsy. This game is probably the biggest flop ever. Nobody likes this game, but they kept trying to make them though. But yeah, complete in box. Actraiser is probably one of my second most grail items right here. Very clean copy, man. Don't let the light fool you. Like, to the naked eye, this game is actually hella clean. So I got this with that Super Nintendo bundle right here for the $100. So this game alone more than pays for it itself. But yeah, Actraiser. One of those weird games, but it's made by Enix though, man. Cybernator is probably one of the best games. This is like a Contra game basically, but you're in a robot. It's made by Konami, man. Hella fun game, man, but it's hard as hell too. Cybernator by Konami. That's where it's at, man. This is a pretty high price game as well. Then we got Yoshi Safari. I believe it's one you need a Super Scope to play, so I never got to play it. But yeah, probably watch some videos on it, I'll be satisfied. Probably one of the most worthless game I got right here is Zoop. I feel like all game stores have this sitting in there, and they have multiple copies sitting there because this game will never sell. Yoshi's Island, Super Mario World 2. I've actually never played this game. I don't even think it plays like Super Mario World 1. I think they just slapped the name on there just to like make it seem like it's a sequel to part 2, but it's actually not. But yeah, because it looks totally different from the first game, man. Pieces is another grail. This is actually made by Atlus. Probably my third or fourth most hot rare game that I got. Pieces, just a puzzle game, man. Nothing special about it, but Atlus is good as gold. Oh, it supports the mouse too. Alright, we're almost there. We got Pack Attack, which is basically a spin-off Pac-Man game. Not sure how you would even play this game because it looks nothing like Pac-Man, but Pack Attack. Populace. This game came out on multiple consoles, but this game is another one of those sim type of games, which I really don't care for. It feels like, man, whoever owned a lot of these games, man, they just like the same old shit, you know? Lord of the Rings is another grail, even though this game is, I don't know, it's like a Golden Axe game, but I never played it, but it is like an RPG type of game. Fantasy RPG, I believe. But yeah, you can use a mouse on this game. I don't get how the mouse even works on this console. Man, Choplifter 3, man, this game, I hated this game back in the days because it was so difficult. I had this on the Game Gear back then. This game would just piss me off to no ends because I never could get past a certain level in this game. So yeah, I hate this game. Then we got Bust a Move, the famous Bust a Move game. I'm guessing this is the first one in the series, but it's pretty much your bubble pop game. There we go. Everyone loves Bust a Move, man. Kind of want to keep this too, but just gotta let it go, man. I can emulate all this shit. Then we got Bugs Bunny Rabbit Rampage, which I don't even know if this is a good game or not. But yeah. And then here is Operation Europe. Another one of those war fighter type of games. Couldn't tell you nothing about it. Looks whack as hell. The thing about Super Nintendo is there's so many weak ass games on the console, man. Alright, I got Mortal Kombat. Man, this was one of the best, man. I remember when this game first came out, all the kids were talking about this game back then. And then it was on the arcades too. Shoot, when this came out the console, man, this was the game. Everyone that was cool had this game. And everyone that didn't was at the cool kid's house playing this game, man. Until part 2 came out. Whew, so good. Lethal Weapon is a game that's actually going up in price. Oh man, I don't even think this game is actually good. It's about Ocean, and Ocean usually makes some garbage ass games. But here it is. Looks like a weak ass game to me, but love the movie though. Up to the home stretch right here. We got 2 of the Pacific Theater of Operations, PTO1, PTO2. I could use some PTO right now. Shit. So there we go. Bombs Away of the Pacific. It's another one of the naval war games. Piece of shit games, man. You know, strategic type of games. Like, I like strategy, but man, these are just boring as hell to me. And I think they got like 4 games in the series, man, because the rest of them came out on like PS1 and PS2. So there it goes. Kind of like an RTS game before RTS games was out. And then one of my biggest grails in the entire collection besides Agane is actually Operation Thunderbolt. Complete in box in damn good condition. This game probably goes for like $300 to $400 depending on the condition. My condition, I would even rank it at $400, man. Grail item right here. This pays for the lot itself, basically. That's the crazy thing about it. And it uses a Super Scope. There's only like 1 or 2 other copies online. I'm telling you, this is probably the best condition copy you'll see online unless somebody else posts another one. And I haven't seen anyone do that in a minute. So yeah, this will fetch a good price. Anyways, that is all that I have. So if you guys enjoyed this collection video, because like I said, I am getting rid of it, so I wanted to show you guys what I got before I get rid of it, and kind of like it'll give me memories of what I used to have. So anyways, this is your boy Gat Cognac signing out. I will see you on the next video. Laters.